when you got guys like Spencer Charnas of Ice Nine Kills sending you a DM, or David Draiman. Not that I needed that to know that I was doing the right thing, but it certainly it feels good to hear.
Everyone likes to have respect from their peers. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't feel good if David Draiman was like, "Hey, Daughtry, your fucking new record blows." Yeah. So like. What's going on? It's me, Jesse Lee. I am first and foremost sorry that I did not get up the Ask Me Anything video that I had planned for last week. Life got away from me. A lot of adult dad stuff happened, and I wasn't able to get up, so I do apologize about that. But I'm making up for it this week with an excellent guest. I've got Chris Daughtry on the podcast. You probably know Daughtry from American Idol fame, but I feel like pretty soon that's going to be the last thing you know him for, because his new record is fantastic. He's definitely finding his sound with more of this metal, like just a heavier rock sound. And I had a great conversation with him about fitness and working out. And finally, all of my friends and all my followers for all these years that have told me how much I look like Chris Daughtry, because we're both bald and we both have beards and we have tattoos. Finally, we're in the same room, kind of same virtual room together, and to prove we're not the same person. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode. Let me know what you think of it.
Oh man, you're outgunning me today, man.
Dude, I wore this for you. I figured you were gonna come with the ripped up shirt.
You know what? This is unacceptable. I'm going to change right now.
Do it, man. Do it.
Give me 2 minutes. I love you, Papa Roach, but it wasn't gonna work.
There we go. Much better. Yeah, I got home from the gym. I almost changed. I'm like, no, dude, I gotta keep on the sleeveless tee for the interview.
Got
you know,
to, man.
it just makes sense.
You got more training than I got in today.
Dude, I didn't get to train the last few days. Dude, my son got his head split open at school on Thursday,
shit.
so I had to take him to get stitches. And that same day, my wife ended up being sick in bed for like 3 days. So yeah, I haven't trained at all for the last 3 days. So I was doing pull-ups. I felt so weak. Like I could barely
life has been hitting hard lately.
Yeah, it took a turn. So I like to start these interviews off, with a spicy question. Really divide fans right off the bat, get them all riled up in the comment section. So Crocs, are they the ugliest thing to happen in footwear, or will you wear them?
The worst thing to happen to footwear.
Thank God. I knew it. I knew you'd be on my side with that one.
I pick on anyone that wears them.
Yeah.
Even my kids.
Ugly.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, do you remember they were popular, 15 years ago or something like that? When they kind of when they first came out? Yeah, now they're...
I hated them then.
Yeah, dude, exactly. And now they're big again. I feel like any footwear that you could put like cheese into and step into it and have come out holes is just not a good look, man.
Yeah, well, ironically, that's what they smell like when your feet have been in them for long.
That's true. I know. I see dudes at the gym in Crocs. I'm like, how? Like, that doesn't even seem comfortable, man.
No, I don't trust people in Crocs. No.
Going for a PR in some Crocs. Come on, man. Yeah. Speaking of, dude, you look great, ripped up as always, man. I love to see it. Love to see it. I gotta confess, I love the music, of course, but I really started following you on Instagram once you started posting all like the workout pics and like the gym stuff.
Oh, right on.
I was like, a fellow bald rocker like me that also hits the gym. Like, I gotta follow what this guy's doing. So, what's your fitness journey been like?
It's ever evolving. I kind of was obsessed with bodybuilding in general when I was a teenager, and I think it kind of stemmed from like my obsession with like Jean-Claude Van Damme and and like comic book characters and stuff. I was always like kind of fascinated by the human anatomy, and I started lifting in high school. I was like this scrawny kid, couldn't put on weight, and I just started kind of getting into it and like learning more about it. And then I kind of fell off, after I became an adult and life happened, and just you start to realize how good beer and pizza and all that shit is, and and then you also realize the detriment of doing too much of that. So when COVID happened, I just was like, you know what? I'm going all in. The only thing stopping me from looking the way I want to look is myself and my own habits. And I just dove in head first, and I didn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
So we had right before COVID hit, or shortly before, we had converted one of our garage bays into a small gym. So it worked out great. I was like, it's all right here, man. I can just go in here anytime I want throughout the day. The kids are occupied for like 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and knock out a couple sets. And
it makes it hard to make excuses.
It wasn't
too.
like, it became more like a lifestyle as opposed to like, I'm only doing it 3 days a week and rest. Like it became almost an everyday thing. And I'm always, I have friends that are just a wealth of information in that field, so I'm always leaning on them for advice. I'm hurting myself nonstop. I'm always getting like tendonitis and shit, so I'm like, what can I do different that I can still work out and not kill myself, So I'm always like just trying to figure out new ways to do less.
That might just be from us getting older, though, man. I think that just comes with the territory, unfortunately. Yeah, because
totally,
I start having muscles that didn't hurt before. What's that?
Yeah, I said I'll be 44 this year, and I feel every piece of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing when COVID hit. I was going to a gym, and then I started, working out in my basement, and started slowly but surely like buying equipment and adding to it, and I became far more consistent having the gym at home, because like even like on the days when my kid's home sick from school or something like that, I can still run down, rep out, a few push-ups and some,
man. You look good, dude.
Thanks, dude. I try. Yeah, well, so now my studio was in the basement, my like recording studio where I do everything and all my videos and stuff. That was when my brand new finished basement with the new gym and everything, and that all flooded about 2 or 3 months ago. And so I actually went back to the gym. So I've been in the gym for the last few months, and it's kind of cool to like change it up, Again, like I feel like I got a little stagnant after a few years in the basement, so now I feel kind of like motivated again to be back and and working and mixing out with the randoms out there, Yeah,
exactly. But it happens, man. Like there are days where I'm like, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like doing this today. And I go in there and I do it anyway. And I'm about 10 minutes in, I'm like, all right, glad that I got this started. Now I'm motivated. Sometimes it just takes doing it to get motivated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. How do you do it on the road, though? Like, how do you keep on track, especially with eating and everything?
Yeah, so I for a while, I was kind of making my own food, which is a pain in the ass on a bus.
Like a hot plate or something, microwave.
Yeah, or I mean, if it's not microwave, you really can't do it. So or air fryer,
right?
And I got in touch with this company, MegaFit Meals, that I post on them every now and then. And
I've seen that.
A lot of bodybuilders use it, and I've done like meal services before, and they're just bland as shit, man. It's like ugh. But these are incredible, and I could literally eat them every day and not get tired of them. So they started like shipping them out on the road, and that diet wise that helped out a lot. And then it's avoiding the temptation to go total ham after the show, and I'll do like a protein smoothie bowl at the end of the night. I call it night pudding. And it's basically like protein powder, frozen berries, and like I'll throw some like protein cereal on it for some extra crunch, and I've got that thing down to a science. That shit's so good.
Dude,
it's like a dessert.
You gotta have a secret track in the next album called Night Pudding. I feel like that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna just whisper it in between the chorus, but then I try to like on days off, if we're fortunate enough to be in a hotel with a solid gym, I'm in there. But I bring like resistance bands and this thing called Max Pro. I bring it out. It's like a little cable station. It's like a little portable cable station. And I just use that when I don't have access to any equipment.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's gotta be tough. Have you ever thought about doing some kind of like a fitness program that you would like either sell or market or like kind of get into that space at all?
I've kind of thought about it, but at the same time, like, I don't feel like I would have to have someone with me that was like, that was actually schooled in that and actually has the knowledge. I kind of know what I'm talking about on a very rudimentary basis, or level rather, based on what I know for myself, but I don't feel like I have the knowledge to be teaching other people. Like, I don't need someone going, man, you fucked my arm up.
I followed Josh's bullshit arms plan and I can't move my wrist.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it is funny because I talk to a lot of rock stars and a lot of them, like, have trouble staying fit on the road and eating healthy and, working out and stuff. And like, I feel like it's kind of a universal thing. Like, everyone wants to be healthy. Everyone wants to take care of themselves. It's just like, external factors kind of prohibit you a lot of times. And I mean, maybe there is somebody out there, but I don't know if there is like a go-to guru, whatever, for like touring musicians for staying fit and healthy on the road. I feel like that's untapped market,
One of the big things is I cut out alcohol like almost 100%. Every now and then I'll have like a glass of wine, at dinner or something. But like that was a huge thing because I found that if I was drinking, then I'm eating.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And then I'm like eating all the bad shit. And that was just a recipe for disaster. So that was one of the reasons I was like, this is just unnecessary calories. And I feel like shit. I wake up, my voice hurts. I got a splitting headache. So I wake up feeling awesome on tour, for the first time in 15 years. The last couple years have just been, a much healthier way of doing it. So that was a big game changer for me, for sure.
Do you still feel like you're having like as much fun on tour without boozing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's my age, but I actually like going to bed early. Like, I don't like staying up
like
till 3, 4 in the morning like I used to. So if the show is over at like 10:30, like before midnight, I'm out. I'm gone.
Oh, nice. Yeah, hell yeah.
Because, and then I get up and around 9:30, 10 a.m. and try to get a run in or something physical in before the day starts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like, I definitely have cut back on how much I booze, as I've gotten older. But like, I still turn up some. Like, I DJ'd this event on Saturday night, and I'm DJing. I'm not with the rocking, and I'm trying to have a good time.
Dude, I get it, man.
And
I had a few drinks at Aftershock. I was like, it was the end of a tour, and I had nothing to do the next day but fly. Right. So I was like, maybe a little tequila won't hurt me.
Exactly. And then I get home, and I get my son's Halloween candy. I slam like a whole box of Reese's Pieces, and I didn't train that day. I didn't train the next day. It's like, dude, that's just a weekend of garbage.
Dude, I literally... Sometimes I train even harder just so I can get the candy or something in for a cheat meal. It's like I'm taking the kids to a movie. I know I'm getting a bucket of popcorn and I'm going to dump 2 bags of peanut M&Ms in this bucket.
Exactly. Yeah, I always try to make it like I don't do it something twice in a row. Like, I don't eat 2 shitty meals in a row, or I don't miss 2 workouts in a row. I try to not do that.
Yeah, I try to like go one day a week where it's like, all right, I'm just allowing myself, to say yes to everything, and then it's right back on the regimen tomorrow.
Right.
I'm pretty disciplined about that.
Good.
But Halloween and Christmas and stuff like that, it's like,
I was gonna say, we're entering into some trying times right now, man. Yeah, we're entering into some very trying times the next couple months. Like, it's crazy because Thanksgiving
and December is hard,
dude, and it shouldn't be, because it's Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's 2 days. That's all it should be. But we stretch it out. We do leftovers.
And I think also there's something kind of ancestral built into our DNA that this time of year we just want to eat more anyway.
Yeah.
And I think these holidays are put in place on purpose.
Dude, it must
They're going to eat. Let's put it right in November and December where they eat the most.
Yeah, and like for the first time in my life, I'm actually trying to do like a bulk, which I feel so silly saying that as like a 36-year-old man. Like I'm bulking, but I'm
Dude, I
actually
get
trying to
it,
put on
man.
some weight,
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice to do it and feel like every time I'm eating shit, it's like, whoa, these calories are going to a good place.
It's going to a good place.
Yeah.
And my trainer's like, dude, if you're going to eat, terrible calories, do it right after a workout because it'll go straight to the muscle. So, I mean, there's got to be something to be said about that.
There. Well, that's what I'm gonna tell myself anyway. Well, as long as the non-fitness people haven't tuned out of this conversation already, hopefully they're sticking with us. All right, so I gotta ask, how do you feel about the term butt rock? Do you find that like an offensive term, or are you okay with it?
I don't quite know where it comes from. I think it's hilarious. It doesn't make me dislike it anymore or any less. I just think it's a silly term. Yeah, it doesn't. I think there was probably a few years in my career where that probably would have offended me, but now I just don't give a shit. So,
my understanding of the origin of it is back in like the early 2000s when they played bands that sounded like that on the radio, the DJs would say like, "We play rock and nothing but rock," and that's where the butt rock came from, because nothing. And for whatever reason, they added an extra T to it and made it butt rock. I don't know.
Yeah. But now it makes it even funnier.
I know, right?
I always just wondered. I knew the genre. I just didn't understand the term. And now that just makes it even more
I know,
hilarious.
right? Yeah, I love butt rock. I'm divorced dad rock, whatever you want to call it. I'm like 100% in that lane. Because I feel like you definitely started in that arena in the beginning and then kind of veered into almost like pop space a little bit. And now you've like settled into this like really natural sounding like metal almost, like, or like just like heavier rock. And I just like love... I mean, I love the new record, Artificial. I love, we've been spinning the single on Octane a bunch, and like, it's such a cool way for you to make music, because I feel like it just feels more authentic than anything I've heard from you in the past.
It absolutely is, and I think it was where I was wanting to live musically before I even went on American Idol. I was just always listening to bands like Seven Dust, Chevelle, Tool, all the heavier stuff, still melodic, but more of the heavier side of things. And that was actually the kind of stuff that I was writing at the time. And then, that was also during a time when rock was really prominent on, I guess you could call it pop radio at the time. Yeah. And
it's definitely in the mainstream for sure.
Felt like we could kind of get away with that, and then labels start to get in your ear about what's popping on the radio and what you should be doing, and you start to believe it, and we went down a path. Well, I went down a path and kind of took them all with me. That just in hindsight did not feel right, and I think there was a part of me at the time that was like, I don't know if this is the right move here, but at the same time,
start wearing fedoras and shit, right?
Yeah, we were just desperate for to whatever staying relevant is, and I kind of believed the hype and saw what other bands were doing, like, oh, nobody's playing guitars on the radio anymore. Yeah, and in hindsight, this is where I wanted to be from the very beginning. So when I was able to, kind of take a step away, once we finished our contract with RCA, and I was able to I think the pandemic kind of helped with this as well. I didn't have anywhere to go. I couldn't tour. I couldn't do anything. And I was like, what do I want to be doing? Like, this is like, I started listening to, records that kind of made me want to do this in the first place. And I was like, well, why the fuck am I not making this kind of music, And so I started working with my producers and was like, this is the kind of record I want to make. And it just all felt, like you said, it just felt natural. And I was like, this just feels right.
Yeah.
And there was some hesitation, like, I don't know what the fans are going to think, or if it's going to be accepted at rock radio, if they're going to, after where we've been, are we going to be embraced? And man, I cannot tell you how relieved and gratifying it's been to hear you guys talk about us all the time on Octane, and all the love and support we've been getting, because dude, that was certainly a fear for us that it was going to be like, yeah, we're making what we want to make, but nobody's taking it seriously,
Or they're like, they think you're just trying to like, go for what's popular or something. And
exactly. And it's just been the best. It's felt really, really welcoming, and when you got guys like Spencer Charnas of Ice Nine Kills, like sending you a DM saying like, dig your stuff, like shit like that, like it's or David Draiman or any of those guys that it's this not that I needed that to know that I was doing the right thing, but it certainly it feels good to hear it coming from your people that you respect. And
I was to say, everyone likes to have respect from their peers, and like again, like you would. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't feel good if David Draiman was like, "Hey, Daughtry, your fucking new record blows." So like, for him to say that,
good effort, but
you'll never be disturbed, dick. Yeah, no, dude, I think it's really cool because, like, obviously coming from the American Idol days, like, you were even like the token rock guy back then. So I feel like, there's an authenticity to it throughout your career. Like, everyone knows you are all about rock music. It just kind of like veered off a little bit onto some different areas. Are there any songs that like you just don't even put in a set list anymore because they just feel like they're so out of place with your current?
The last tour was when we toured Dearly Beloved. It was almost like, without me saying it, it was a statement like, don't even ask, because this is the set list, and any song that you're saying we're not playing, I want you to really think about it right now and see how that fits with the rest of this. And you can answer your own question of why we're not playing it. And then there's a couple songs that I just would kind of do in the like, there's always a part of the set where I just go out with an acoustic guitar and just play whatever, whether it's a Sleep Token cover or Deftones or even an old song reimagined. That's the time where I'll break out, some of the maybe poppier stuff, but I'll do it in a, in the way it was written, just an acoustic guitar, and it somehow it works with the rest of the set. And then there's times where you'll hear fans like yelling for a song that no matter how many times you hear them yell it, you're just not going to play it, and you just ignore it.
Is there any song in particular where you're like, I'll never touch this one live again?
There's a song called Feels Like Tonight that's on the first record that I did not write, and it was kind of placed upon me, if you will, in the final stages of recording the first record. And it was written by Dr. Luke and Max Martin, and it was written for me had I won American Idol. So there's all these like, things I found out about it that I didn't like. I didn't really love the song anyway. And then there was a lawsuit that it was a ripoff of another song, and I had nothing to do with it. So I'm just like, I didn't want to do the song in the first place.
Oh my God. Got real bad taste in your mouth with that one. So
it just has so much, bad juju in general for me. And so that's just one that, like, and I think the fans kind of know that. Honestly, the diehard fans, they don't want to hear that stuff in the first place.
Probably not, yeah.
They're all about where we're at now, and they're like, oh my God, fucking finally, this is where we've been, wanting you to be since day one. So there's a fan base that is here for the heavy, and wouldn't mind if we even went heavier. And then there's the fans that were only found out about us through the pop era, and you know, they cling to that. But once they come to the new shows, they find out real quickly what we're really about, and they're like, I don't know if I like this Daughtry.
Any idea what song they were saying it was a ripoff of?
No, it wasn't. I don't even think it was a famous song. I think it was one of those
some cash grab thing.
Something from, you know, a Swedish band or something like that.
Oh, man.
I'm
it's
not,
like, I don't want to play this damn thing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So that's definitely a for sure no.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. I will not request that song if I ever see you live.
We hated playing it live anyway. It was one of those. It was like,
yeah,
we're just playing the singles here.
Good. Well, the new album has a ton of songs that are not songs that you're gonna shit on and not play, because it's awesome. I love it. I love the music video for Artificial. Really cool. I gotta ask, you gotta be honest with me, man. How many sit-ups did you do before you shot that thing? You had to have...
I did no sit-ups. I did no sit-ups that day. I did some planks and some push-ups right before that shot, and actually I was really stressed out that it wasn't going to turn out that great, because usually when you do like a shirtless scene, it's like rule of thumb, you shoot that first thing in the morning, get it out of the way, because you're only going to retain water the rest of the day. It was the last thing we shot.
No, like, we gotta do this tomorrow.
we had a band member that couldn't be there past a certain time, and we had to shoot all the performance stuff first. So I was just sipping on cold brew all day, just to try not to get too much water in me, and at the same time didn't want to dehydrate, so I was gonna so I'd get muscle cramps.
Yeah.
So it was a tightrope, but once I saw the footage, I was like, okay, I'm stoked on this. I'm all right.
I feel like you were like a wrestler before a match, like you were like chewing on ice cubes and stuff, trying to cut the last.
It was a strenuous 2 weeks leading up to that.
Yeah.
With training and just being super methodical about what I ate and when I ate. It was those aren't the funnest of times when you're that regimented.
But dude, it paid off.
But I also
knew
I knew what I wanted to see in the video, and I'm like, this is gonna happen.
Cause dude, one day you're gonna be like 80, and you're gonna be scrolling on YouTube, you're like, oh fuck yeah, check out those abs.
Exactly.
I love it, dude. You can show your kids, like, look, this is your old man.
Yeah, see what your dad did.
Well, dude, you got a lot of exciting shows announced for next year already. Playing with freaking Creed. That sounds like so much fun.
It's surreal, man. I'm sorry, my dog is going nuts over here. I'm so stoked that they're getting back together and that we get to do shows. We're doing some cruise dates, and then we're doing I think 3 dates on the actual tour. Yeah. And it's pretty surreal, because one of the first shows I remember seeing, when I was a teenager, was Creed with Finger 11 opening. I love that band. So, and now that we're going to be on the bill too, it's this weird like full circle thing.
Oh, for sure.
And I love Mark. We got to tour with Mark quite a bit last year on the Dearly Beloved tour with Draiman. So I love that guy to death. He's like family. So we're excited, man, and we're working on a new record in the meantime. It's next year is going to be a busy one.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Creed resurgence is just insane. Like, I don't know, I feel like Nickelback really opened the door. Once the tide turned on Nickelback and everyone started getting on board with them, now all these other bands are like, Creed's like, you know what, fuck, maybe we can come back. And before you know it, dude, Hinder's going to get back out there and start doing
it's cool to see these bands getting respect, man.
Because they were huge for a reason,
I think they get unnecessarily shit on, and exactly. They have songs that draw thousands of people to their shows, so they're doing something right.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love. Did you see how the Texas Rangers like used them as like the theme for like the entire series, and they ended up winning the World Series?
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean that's got to feel good for them and Creed.
Yeah, exactly. Like
they're like they're just saying you're welcome at this point.
Yeah, exactly, man. In 2024, Creed is the official song of the like Major League Baseball. Like, what the fuck? What alternate dimension are we in? Oh man. Yeah. So you've worked with a lot of different bands and artists throughout the years, like Slash, for instance, and Chad from Nickelback. Do you have any collab that you're like particularly like, this is like the best one? Not even the best one, but just the one that like you're still like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that I'm the most proud of would be Separate Ways with Lizzie, because just how that turned out and how our vocals blended and just how much fun and it was kind of us dipping our toes into the heavier side of music and it was kind of like, okay, if we can deliver this, metal riff with double kick, but it's a song that people already know.
Yeah,
it's going to be easier for people to digest. Us doing heavier stuff, and that was kind of what made us lean in even harder for Artificial, and was like, now we know that we can get away with this. So, but that was such a fun experience, and I loved working with Lejean on. We've worked together twice now on this song we did called "The Past" off of it's Something in Sorrow record. I can't remember the is it Pain and Sorrow? No, it's something else. Maybe I'm wrong. And then we did Hunger Strike together, and Lejean's just been one of my favorite people in the industry ever since we've first started hitting the road. So, and I've been a fan of that dude and that band since like '97. So it's one of those things again that's like that validating thing from your peers.
Oh, for sure.
It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, I loved the Lizzie Hale collab you did, because that's one of my favorite Journey songs. And when I heard you were doing a Journey cover, I was like, I didn't even see what the song was at first. I was like, oh my god, please don't Stop Believing. Like, because I fucking, as much as I like Journey, I cannot stand Don't Stop Believing. I don't know if it's because of Scrubs and like from the years 2008 to 12 or whatever. It was like on every like karaoke bar.
Everybody does that one. It's that would not have been. You won't catch us
so thank you for choosing a different song.
You're
welcome. Appreciate that. You guys nailed it. Yeah, I like the approach you did with the video too. Just kind of like a studio recording almost. Did you guys think about doing like a full blown video?
No, that wasn't even. I don't even think that was meant to be a video. I think we were. Neither one of us were prepared for that, and neither one of us showed up dressed for a music video. It was like
that's what I thought was weird.
She had a leather jacket, so that was good. But we were supposed to be shooting like just some B-roll, like to have some footage of us working together to promote it. And then they kind of just chopped it up and was like, what do you think? I was like, well, I guess we got a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind
I remember because I was watching that video just a few days ago. Actually, I remember thinking that I'm like, man, it doesn't even look like they even like were planning on shooting this. It looked like they kind of just like hanging out, and they just
literally looking at a lyric sheet.
Yeah. You guys are trying to do that like that recording dance. When you're recording a song, you're kind of dancing, but you're not really.
Although it would be funny if we went back and recreated the original video, like scene for scene. That would be hilarious.
Dude, yeah, I fully support that. I think that should be in the cards someday. Well, I know you love Sleep Token. I know you're a huge fan. I loved the cover you did of Sleep Token. I personally
thank you, man.
Cannot get into that band though, but I trust you. So maybe you can turn the tide for me. Like, what's so great about Sleep Token? Like, what's the hype with those guys?
I mean, I think his melody choices are incredible. I think the combination of soulful, like almost R&B singing over metal is such a cool juxtaposition. And the fact that you don't picture this like, you know, death cult looking band when you hear their music, and then you see them, you're like, what the fuck? It's so none of it actually like,
it's very jarring.
Computes. I remember Mark Tremonti actually turned me on to them on tour last year. And he's like, dude, you got to listen to this band. I'm totally obsessed. And I'd never heard of them. And I was listening. I'm like, it's just piano and vocal. And then all of a sudden, you know, and I was just like, what is this? And no song sounded the same. It was like, you know, every genre wrapped into one. And so I think their newest record is just phenomenal top to bottom. Okay. I don't know if you've had a chance to dive in.
I couldn't get through the whole thing.
Couldn't get through the whole thing. I personally think it's one of the most creative bands I've heard in a very long time.
I'm definitely in the minority of it. I know they're very much well loved. But I gotta say, when I heard your cover of their song, it made me like the song more. I was like, okay, like I don't know if because when it was stripped back to what it was like just the core, I could actually hear feel the melodies and it wasn't a lot of like I guess like all the jarring, you know. I think that was a bit for me, but I don't know.
It's definitely hard to follow. It's not very linear. It's kind of all over the place.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm too simple. I can't handle the need 4 chords.
Am I listening to a different song now, or is this the bridge?
Is this the same song still? God damn. Oh, that rules. Oh, aside from Sleep Token, are there any other kind of newer bands that you're really digging, or you're spinning a lot lately?
I've been listening to the new Ice Nine Kills record quite a bit, and I'm digging the new Bad Wolves record. That's a solid ass album.
Mm-hmm. Great, I just had Doc on my podcast a couple weeks ago.
Doc is all I love that. Doc is great, man. Some great songs on that record. New Spirit Box sounds great.
Have you checked out the new?
That's kind of what I've been listening to lately.
Have you checked out the new Beartooth record yet?
I've heard the singles. I dig them.
Yeah, dude, it's so good, man. I love it.
I got to check out the whole record.
Yeah, it's a nice little change. Cause I don't know if you're like familiar with their older stuff or not, but it was like real depressing, like dark music, and like this whole record was just
I remember
happy,
when I heard
upbeat.
when I heard Might Love Myself, I was like, is this the same band that I've heard before on Octane?
Right.
But is it the same band or a different band with the same name?
Yeah, exactly.
But I dig it. I love, I'm a sucker for, great poppy melodies anyway. So
that's the big thing. Like people always shit on bands when they,
great.
Yeah, like people always shit on bands when they change their sound and like get more like radio friendly or whatever. But it's like, I mean, I don't feel like a band's selling out just because they make music that's catchier, I mean, maybe they just really want to make catchy music, like And Beartooth especially, that's a band that's always written catchy music. It just happens to not be so sad and depressing as fuck anymore because Caleb's not an alcoholic and can't actually take care of himself.
We change as human beings and we can't write the same shit over and over.
That's the thing. Well, it's still hard. I mean, I'm sure you know this more than anyone. Like, trying to please a fan has got to be difficult because they say, like, when you put out something different, they complain because it doesn't sound like the old stuff. But then if you put out something that sounds exactly like the old stuff, then it's like, oh, this is just the same fucking record again.
It's derivative.
Like,
Yeah, you gotta, I think at the end of the day, you just have to write music that you love and hope that it connects, but you're really making the art for yourself. And, I think Rick Rubin talks about that ad nauseum. Your only job is to service the art and to create the art, and after that, it does what it does.
Yeah.
And it's either going to connect with people or it's not, but you have no control over that.
Yeah, I think he might have been the same producer too that said, like, once you create something, it doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to, like, the world essentially. Like you don't really have claim to it anymore once it's out there in the world.
I mean, and I think that's, that's the great thing about music. You write from a real place, and people are going to interpret that in so many different ways, and that doesn't mean it's wrong or right. I think that's the goal. You want it to hit people differently, and sometimes fans have told me what a song meant to them, and I'm like, I would have never thought of that, but that makes way more sense than what I wrote it for.
I'm gonna go with that from now on.
Yeah, and it changes your whole perspective on what the song could be about. So, and I think that happens to me when I'm writing songs. I'm like, I started it coming from here, but now I can see how it can be about so many different things, and it kind of inspires you to look at it differently and connect to it differently as well.
Yeah. Well, after this, like, illustrious career already, working with so many big artists, is there anybody left on the dream collab list for you?
Oh, I'm always wanting to work with new people. There's quite a few out there that are potentially in the works, but I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I love working with singers that inspire me and that make me jealous of what they're able to do with their voice. But yeah,
without giving anything away, is there anyone that you would love to work with one day if they're not already in the lineup?
I mean, there's a lot. I love Johnny Hawkins' voice a lot. I think he's an incredible vocalist. Some of the stuff he's able to do, I have no idea how he's physically capable of doing. Yeah. And same with Spencer Charnas. I mean, the dude is incredible. Ronnie Radke. I mentioned
that
Draiman.
Would be an interesting combo.
That would be cool. Yeah. I mean, I have so much respect for great vocalists, and I'm always feeling like I still have more to learn. Yeah. So, on a selfish level, I want to work with these singers so I can pick their brains.
Kind of level up a bit. Yeah. That's dope. That's such a cool way to think about it too. To not be like, you've been doing this for long enough that you have your own name, but to still be like, oh, I can learn something from these other vocalists is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Because you got a gig coming up with Falling Reverse, right, in December?
Yes.
Cool.
Pretty stoked about that. Never met Ronnie, but I'm
you never met him?
Doing a show with him. No.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that'll be a good first meeting. Have you faced any kind of backlash from fans at all doing a show with him, since he's a pretty polarizing figure in the music world?
No, not at least that I've seen. I try not to read a bunch of. I feel like if I go looking for comments, I'm gonna find them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I like to hit and run on Instagram. Like I post and leave. Because but I don't know if our fans are as in tune with what's going on over in the Falling in Reverse world. So they're just stoked that we got a show that they can go see. But I haven't heard anything yet. But he, obviously, you hear the polarizing stories here and there.
Oh,
but,
yeah. He ruffles feathers, that's for sure.
he definitely. So, I mean, sometimes I guess you got to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, man, he definitely gets clicks, that's for sure. He definitely moves some needles.
It's not hurting his video views.
No, absolutely not. Well, dude, it's been super awesome chatting with you. I know you probably got some. Man, I know you got some games to go chase. Probably gotta get to the gym.
I gotta go pick my kid up from school in about 30 minutes. So
yeah, same. That's exactly what I have to
do. and go into dad mode.
Hell yeah. Well, everyone listening and watching, stream the crap out of Artificial. Go follow Chris on social media for some juicy gym pics. Do you have anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, just the shows that are coming up. Hit us up on Instagram if you want to know what the dates are, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
And hope to see you all next year.
Sick. And everyone, make sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast and share this shit with somebody who has good taste. All right? Take it easy now, and bye-bye.